as a fighter, so you might see him popping up in TNA again. Martin Kampmann, who we mentioned earlier, who spoiled the debut of Carlos Condit, the WEC champion in the UFC, he was supposed to fight Mike Swick, and the winner was supposed to fight George St. Pierre in the next welterweight title fight. But Swick was out with an injury, so Kampmann was fighting Paul Daly, a good striker from the UK, who was a late replacement, took the fight on short notice. Daly surprised him with a knockout in the first round, so he moves forward. I doubt he gets the next title shot, even though the fight was positioned that way originally. I just don't see him being deserving of a shot yet. He probably needs at least, it was his UFC debut, let's be honest. Junior Dos Santos upset Mirko Cro Cop. Some would call it an upset. He beat him in the third round by strikes. It was Cro Cop kind of quit because he couldn't see. And there's an interview floating around, which I'm able to confirm is legitimate, although there's a lot of rumor and speculation whether it's real or not. It is real, where he pretty much talks like he's done. He wouldn't come out and say he's done. He just said that probably should have been my last fight, or the fight before it should have been my last fight. I shouldn't have came out, and stuff like he's hinting at retiring. So Cro Cop lost. Junior Dos Santos now has a win over Cro Cop and Fabricio Verdum. So he moves up in the heavyweight division quite a bit with that win. In the main event, Vitor Belfort upset the world by knocking out Rich Franklin very quickly in the first round, which you predicted. I'll give you your credit. Last week on the show, I said Rich Franklin would eat him up.
Yeah, but don't give me much credit, because I think that was the only fight that I had.
Yeah, you sucked those predictions on the show, but let's give you, respect where respect's due. Main event, you predict an upset of that level, it deserves some, respect. And I, to my credit, to just make myself look a little better, last week I did say if Franklin were to lose, it would be Vitor hitting him with a very quick knockout early in the fight. That would, he either wins early or he mentally breaks. And he wasn't dragged long enough into the fight to mentally break, so he got his punch in that really looked shitty on the replay. It was kind of like a wrist that hit the top of Franklin's head that dropped him.
Right.
And then once he was kind of squatted down, Vitor hit a good punch that kind of flattened him. So he was a definitely legitimate win. Franklin didn't dispute it, and Vitor Belfort is definitely in good stock in UFC's eyes. In fact, at the press conference, Dana White pretty much went on record as saying it'll be Vitor Belfort versus Anderson Silva for the middleweight title in the next fight, because Vitor has yet to lose to Anderson, whereas Nate Marquardt and Dan Henderson both have fought Anderson in UFC already and lost, convincingly lost, submission for one, and Dan Henderson, and knockout for the other, Nate Marquardt. So he says it'll be Marquardt and Henderson fighting each other, and the winner will fight the winner of Vitor Belfort and Anderson Silva. So that's where things are going based on that show. And also last week was The Ultimate Fighter, which featured Kimbo, 4 NFL former stars, including number 1 draft pick Marcus Jones, Wes Sims, a former character in UFC, who's had some fights with Frank Mir and stuff. And the coaches, obviously, Rashad Evans and Rampage, who get into it every time they're in the same room. And I just wanted to ask you, we could just do a quick rant on Rampage this season, what to expect, why this show did the rating it did, why it's going to do the rating it's going to do tomorrow night, Wednesday, and why this is the season to watch. What do you think, man?
Well, what do I think? Is it Rampage Rashad? I think it's more along the lines of Kimbo being on that show.
He's a draw.
Kimbo's a major draw. Anyway,
well, there's two elements. Kimbo's the draw, and then what makes it entertaining? Why is it going to be entertaining? Because Kimbo, let's be honest, probably will not be winning this tournament. But why is it entertaining to watch this season?
Well, obviously for Rampage,
Well, not obviously. People haven't seen it until this past Wednesday. They didn't know what that element was. I mean, we heard they hate each other, and it's entertaining when they're. But I mean, let's talk about some of the shit talking that went on. I mean, my God, it was a thing of beauty.
Yeah, I know. Remember we were just talking about Mayweather just being a shit talker,
Yeah.
The guy that I know you're a Rampage mark. You really like Rampage, but that's
he's the
man,
guy, bro. He's
that's
the man,
guy that
dude.
I just want to see get knocked out. You know what I mean? That's just a dude that talks a lot of shit, and you're just
really,
like, man, I want to see this guy. Yeah, man, it's all right. Shit talkers equal ratings. You know what I'm saying? It's great to watch them, but they're the guys that I want to see just get knocked out. So they'll just shut their mouth. I mean, somebody.
But
it's like the guy that's always talking all the shit, but if you knock him out, it's like, just shut, right in your face. Just shut your mouth. You know what I'm?
There's two categories of shit talkers, though. There's the Matt Hughes that's just, you believe that guy's just an asshole.
Yeah,
and then Rampage,
no doubt.
And then Rampage, where you're like, he's just trying to be funny and entertaining because he's on TV.
Sure.
Whereas, like we've always argued, you always said Rampage was kind of shit talking, and that's why Rashad and them had that big stare down at that UFC at the post fight. Remember when Rampage knocked out Keith Jardine when Rashad was on commentary? Rashad came in the cage. They showed the clip on The Ultimate Fighter. And you always told me, well, Rampage got in his face, and that's why Rashad got back in his face. And I kept telling you, no. Rampage was kind of goofing it up and saying, "Oh, I'm gonna knock you out. I'm gonna knock you clean out." But you could clearly tell he was just being like, "This is his promo time." Whereas Rashad was taking it dead serious, got right in his face like a fucking heart attack, and was like, "Yo, I'll fucking kill you. Don't talk to me like that. I'm not your fucking pawn for a joke right now. This is my life. We're talking. I'll beat your ass." You know. I think Rashad is more of an asshole, and Rampage is more of a shit talker, but in a funny way. Like it's an entertaining kind of shit. It's Muhammad Ali. Yeah, it's Muhammad Ali. It's beautiful.
It is. I mean, it's you got to take that, huh?
Yeah, I do have to take that.
Yeah, I heard it.
All right, yo, let me say "boat" one time. Let me say that's what I do, and let me say, "Oh yeah." All right, close it out, man. I'll see you next Tuesday, everybody.
I'll see you guys later.
All right, later.
I'll end this out. I'll see you later, Boone. All right. So we lost Boone. We're at 9:08 Eastern time, so I got to close this shindig out real quick. This Saturday night, guys, if you're going to be in the New York City area and you want to meet up, I'll be down there for the Ring of Honor show. Webmaster at ProWrestlingScoops.com. Once again, Webmaster at ProWrestlingScoops.com. Shoot me an email, and we'll get together. We'll have a drink, a beer, a soda, if you're old enough, beer, whatever. This Saturday night, Ring of Honor, New York City. Also, next Monday night, Raw in Albany, New York. I'm going to be covering that live for the website. Backstage news throughout the day. We're going to do a live radio show. It's going to start 7 o'clock Eastern time. We're going to use the talk shoe for next Monday's show, and then hopefully we'll debut all new production equipment next Tuesday night for WZR Radio. You're going to see a bunch of changes. The live posts on the website are going to look a lot different. The chat room, we're working on a brand new chat room for you guys as well. That's coming up next Tuesday night, 7 to 9 Eastern time. So until then, until next Monday night for a special live WZR Radio broadcast, 7 o'clock Eastern time for Backstage at Raw. We will see you next week. There are no SmackDown and ECW spoilers. We don't have coverage from Ryan Gray on the website tonight. Obviously, wasn't able to get somebody, but we should have them up probably by around midnight or 1 a.m. on the East Coast later tonight. So I apologize for not having those. So if you guys are going to be up here in Albany or New York City, shoot me an email, webmaster at ProWrestlingScoops.com. We'll get together. Until next Monday night, 7 o'clock Eastern time, for Matt Boone, this is Ryan Clark saying see you next Monday. And, of course, guys, you know I got to do this to you. So here we go.